In this video, I will show you how to scrape email addresses from Google Maps using n8n. So if we jump right into this workflow and I say execute workflow, the first thing it's going to do, pop up a form for me where I can enter a keyword, in this case, real estate, location, I enter Dublin. If I run this, it's going to trigger this workflow. This is used to generate the different queries. Those queries will be sent to Google Map. Google Map is going to take those queries, extract email addresses from them, update the Google Sheet. So here it has generated the queries. The next time is going to generate the URLs. And the final part is that it's going to generate email addresses. So we just allow the workflow to run because it's looping through each and every of those queries that is sent to Google Maps until it extracts all the websites. So we'll just give it a second. So it's extracting email addresses. That is done now. And if you check here under email, you're going to see the email addresses it has extracted. So let me jump right in and show you step by step how this was built. So the first node here is a form submission node. This allows you to submit a form. We named it email collation. We gave it two fields. The keyword field is a text element. You can choose which element, but in this particular case, we want it to be text. It is a required field. We want the location to also be a required field, and it's also text. So you can see these are the stuff that I entered, the real estate and the location, which was Dublin. Then it comes to this LLM mode, which basically what it does, it accepts the keyword and location as the user message. Then the system prompt basically tells it generate 10 queries. So it's going to take the keyword and the location, and it's going to generate 10 queries based on that. You can see these are the queries that it has generated. These queries are what it is going to send to Google Maps. So if we go back to the node, once it has generated the queries, this next one is used to separate them into different fields so that I will be able to update it to this Google Sheet. We can see I'm doing an append row. The document is keywords. The name of the sheet is query, is mapping automatically. So it's going to take all this. This was how I was able to, if you come back to query, the query sheet here, this was how I was able to get different queries that were generated. So if you come back to this node, right, once it has updated and it has generated those queries, it's going to send it to a loop node. What this loop node is doing, the batch size is 1. So it's taking each query one after the other. Then you can see it's going through this loop path. It's sending it to this HTTP request node. So if you open this up, this is basically an API call to Google Maps, right? And each of those calls is going to take any of the queries that were generated. So any of the queries that I have is going to take that query and it's going to send it to Google Maps, run that query, wait 3 seconds. So there's a wait node here that's telling it to wait 3 seconds. So we don't want to be caught up with rate limiting and all that. So it waits 3 seconds, then sends the second query, waits 3 seconds, sends the third one. It's going to do that until it completes the 10 queries. Once that is done, you can see the loop here where it says done. It takes it to this extract URL node. So it sends all that information. If I open up this function node, this is basically a JavaScript, right? ChatGPT can easily write this for you. So what it's basically doing is that it's extracting URLs from the data that was returned from Google Maps. Once that is done, it does filtration because once you're scraping in that way, there are a lot of things you don't need, like maps.google.com. Those are not what I'm looking for. So I get a list of that and I create like a regex to say, if you see all these things don't match, you just send me the ones that I need. And these are the things that it outputted. So it got 209 items and it only kept 34 and discarded 175. So that is what happens here. Then it updates the URL sheet again, right? If you come to this URL sheet, this is where it updated it. The next part of the workflow is basically what then takes those URLs that have been generated and it goes through another loop, one at a time. You can see the loop here. It makes a HTTP request. It makes an API request really to each of those URLs. So each of those URLs that it was able to extract from Google Maps, it sends a request to each and every one of them. Then it's going to go through that loop. You can see it did it 21 times. After it has completed the loop, it sends it. You can see this side is the done loop. So it sends it to this part. It says, okay, I've extracted all the data from those URLs. Then it takes that data and you can see again the loop part of it. It sends it to this function node. What is function node? This is another JavaScript that is basically extracting email addresses. So once it has extracted those email addresses from all the data that has been sent to it, once it is done, it then sends it to this aggregate node. What this aggregate node is doing is that from all the websites, all the data that it has scraped email addresses from, merge it into one list, right? Then it then sends it to this remove duplicates. What remove duplicates is basically doing is that remove items repeated within current input. So it looks at the input, matches it based on these email fields, and removes anything that is duplicates. Now, once that is done, it comes to this set field. This is basically a set field that is saying, oh, just name this email, right? So that it can match Google Sheets that we are going to update in a second. So once that is done, it sends it to this Google Sheet. So it has sent it to this Google Sheet, 30 items, and it also outputted 30 items, which is basically a list of those email addresses. That was how, if you come back to this Excel sheet, you will see these are the email addresses that it extracted. So this is a very simple way to scrape email addresses using Google Maps and n8n. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will be happy if you subscribe and like so that YouTube can send this video to people that will gain value from it. Thank you very much and have a great day.